I've got a question. I'll probably do a follow-up video and put just more of these screenshots in so you can see what I'm talking about. But in this one, I'll just invite you to go look at it for yourself. What is going on with the Hodgetwins slash their second account now, the Conservative Twins? The first experience I had with the Hodgetwins was a couple of years ago, and I don't even remember what video I watched, but they were sitting down together, they were discussing an issue. It seemed like a fairly complex, a fairly nuanced, legitimate take on that issue. They hit some points that were talking points for the right, some points that were talking points for the left. They had nuanced opinions on it. They weren't afraid to make anybody mad, which I liked, because if you're gonna, if you're gonna be a little bit provocative, go ahead and be provocative towards everybody. Don't just pick a side. And so I kind of liked them. My first impression of them was pretty good. And then all of a sudden, which this is another thing that just plays into how disingenuous this feels in general, all of a sudden I started seeing their posts all over Facebook. Like they suddenly ramped it up, or maybe it was just my algorithm for me personally giving me more of those posts. So I'm going to hold out for that possibility. This is one of the interesting things to look into. Was there a sudden uptick in their posts? And all of a sudden, it was not nuanced at all. It was just like sound bites for the extreme right, and that's it. So, and I mean, I invite you, go scroll through their stuff, see if it's not true. Every 5 minutes, some soundbite for the extreme right, and accuracy be damned, right? It's BS stuff that you're either intentionally lying or you just literally have zero exposure to anybody on the left to have some sort of idea about what is actually going on in their minds and their thoughts, their opinions and perspectives, because it wasn't just like pro conservatism or whatever. It wasn't just pro right, it wasn't just pro Trump. It was like slander of people anywhere towards the left that was not accurate. So that was what first grabbed my attention. And then all of a sudden, it became anti-Trump, essentially. Like, not anti some of those values that, we say Trump has, but just, Trump isn't the answer type of message. And kind of lifting up Massey and what is his name? Rand Paul, and which are both people I actually respect and admire, especially Massey, and probably Paul too if I listen to more of his stuff. But Massey, pretty sound, steady, intelligent, clear dude. So I actually really liked to see that switch, but at the same time it sounded really disingenuous because there was no lead into it. There was no transition time. There was no soul-searching evidence. It was just like, here's the day that we switch our messaging. And no maybes, no uncertainty. The messaging just switched. And I feel like when you switch your stance on something, and I'm not saying that they made it super clear that they were pro-Trump in anything that I saw, and I didn't take a really super close look at all their stuff. I would say, though, that by omission they came across as extremely pro-Trump. What I mean is that it was just a matter of repeating every single message that he had to say about liberals, about Democrats, about his opponents, about everybody and everything. It was just completely lockstep. And so the fact that they never, to my knowledge, said anything critical of Trump, but just parroted everything he stood for, believed in, and said, that sounds pro-Trump, even if you don't come out and say it. So And then when the switch happened, it also they didn't really come out and say it either. They just had a picture of Massey. It was a a quote from Massey that sounded really good, really intelligent, because I mean he is. And then the caption was something like, and I think Paul was in there too, because the caption was, "These are the guys that Trump hates." Now, that's a legitimate complaint. Why the heck is, I mean, those of us who've been a little bit aware for a while are not surprised at all by the fact that Donald Trump's suddenly coming out against these guys. But it's a valid question. If you thought that Donald Trump really did stand for the conservative party and conservative values, which he never has. But if you really thought that, and then all of a sudden he's coming out anti-Massey, that doesn't make a lot of sense. And I could see the sudden disconnect and the sudden, wait a minute, what the heck is going on? So valid question, but again, they never asked it as a question. It was just cue for a sudden switch, sudden change of posture. And I'm going to say, I think it's a positive change. I think that maybe, there are certain things that Trump has done recently. The bailout for Argentina, which whether you call it a currency exchange or whether you call it a direct bailout, either way, we're trading our good, valuable money for their failing money. It's not a good trade, even if that's the positive way you want to spin it. So that, the statement about buying Argentinian beef, which again, not just an economic decision, right? It's politically motivated, because this is the country that Trump has come out so strongly about supporting and basically bailing out and saving with the American dollar, literally and figuratively. So how you're not going to convince me that this isn't politically motivated as a way of boosting Argentina, not just about bringing those prices down for the U.S. So there's that. There's all that mess. There's a few other things, but then there's the big push against Massey, one of the most consistent, one of the guys who has the most integrity, whether you like his politics or not. Like he is consistently conservative, consistently constitutional, has integrity, speaks for the people who elected him. And so to come out against him, big, huge red flag as well. Valid to point it out as red flag, valid to change your opinion based on that red flag. But why does it feel so scripted? And the one possibility I'm going to offer is that it feels scripted because that's just the that's just the way that these little soundbite memes sound, and I'm sick of that personally. I think it sounds so disingenuous, even if you maybe are a genuine person, to speak only in soundbite memes. So maybe it just sounds that way. Maybe they had a real heart to heart. Maybe they had some real soul searching in the background behind the scenes, but the memes paint this picture like it's this scripted narration switch happening. So I'm going to offer that possibility, because I'm not trying to accuse them of anything, but I'm saying it feels weird to me. And my question is, is it, have they actually sold out? Because I felt like they sold out when I just first saw that they no longer had any nuance, and they're just straight, not even party line, but Trump line. So my question then was, did they sell out? But now my question is even more, have they sold out? So thanks for watching, and let me know what you think. I'll maybe put together a video that's similar to this one, but where I reference the actual memes that I came across to kind of prove my points all throughout the whole narrative. So, all right, catch you later.